All right, for today is basically our review day. I'm going to try to wrap things up a little sooner than later and give you some time to maybe eat between this class and intermediate, as well as work on your CNO, obviously. Everything is due today, guys. All the assignments in CNO are due today, and hopefully that's okay, that there's no problem with that. Let me know if you have questions on the 25-point problem. Obviously, that's the big one that you have to get done today. Let's not lose any points on that. Any questions on the 25-point problem at this point?
I got to submit my extra credits.
And then, yes, submit the extra credit. If you have the Excel completed, I have a link in Blackboard. It's right at the very, very bottom. And I haven't started reviewing those, but I will hopefully tomorrow. And then you kind of know by next week, or tomorrow or Friday, that you'll have so many points added to your exam score. So, exam is scheduled for Monday. Oh. All right. So let's start a review. Looking at an exercise 46 here, I have the answer key out here. Please review your Excel worksheet. Make sure that you are able to, and you can do this on your own. I'm not going to cover it today or not do it in class today, but just be sure that your answer key comes out to these. So what I did is I identified the labels here. I've also provided the answer key, or the three types of questions you may encounter on the test: the RS squared, the slope, intercept, and also identified what they represent, obviously. So please know that terminology. Those are simple multiple choice type questions that you might see on the exam. In addition, the goal with Chapter 3 is always to come up with a cost formula, right? So you have your fixed cost plus your variable cost, which is represented by the slope or variable rate times a cost driver, in this case X, which could be units, it could be machine hours, it could be labor hours. That can change with the problem. So simply, if you want to practice this, put in your X's, put in your Y's, right? And see if you come up with the results. Be aware, the Y's are always what? Cost, right? Cost. So make sure you pick the right Y's. Be also aware that the Y's and the X's can be reversed, right? Y could be in column 1 or A, and X's could be in column B. Don't always assume that X is on the left and Y is on the right. We cool with that? Are you down? Are you down with that?
Are those supposed to be the correct numbers?
I'm hoping so. You don't think so?
For problem for
Oh, I think this probably is an older problem. Just key in these numbers and see if you get these answers. Or no? Or you don't know? Let's look at 46. I don't think it is 46 now that you mention it. No, this is a totally different problem. So this doesn't represent any problem in the book. I just made these numbers up from an old textbook. All I would like you to do is just key in the numbers and make sure it
Actually,
comes
they
out.
are from 46.
Are they?
They use problem 43's data
I was looking below.
on the previous page.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Diane. Data's on page 133, correct? Yep. Thank you. 33, correct? How does that look? So give it a whirl. Just be aware what these all mean. Terminology is big on chapter 3. All right, I do want to try this one though. This is in your packet only. Practice the high-low method, right?
You guys don't do that.
We got a series of observations, January through October. We have a cost on the left side, a material handling cost. This is what we're trying to predict, the dependent variable, as compared to the number of parts. So X is our parts here. Looking at the two lists, what month is the high month? And certainly Catherine or Sam, you can answer this as well. What is the high month? Looks like September, right guys? Very good, Catherine, thank you. September is the high month with 850 is the level with a cost of 86,750. Low point or low month is January at 450. So the X's, right, are used to pick the high and the low points. X's are used to pick the high and low points. So January is at 450. Walter, can you shut that door, please? And a cost is at 61,550. Oops, way up here. Excellent. And that is the step 1 process in our high-low computation, right? Picking the high and the low period. Also be aware, with the test, you will have multiple choice answers, right? So you should be able to verify your work pretty well. And I'm hoping that you could do that. Show your work. If you do want to turn in your work on Monday, that is fine. In some cases, it does help with partial credits. All right, compute the variable rate is our step 2. Using the high-low method, we use the formula. Variable rate is equal to dollars, always on top. We're going to subtract the high and the low cost, and we got the denominator. Was it 850 and 450? What was our costs? I see the low cost, 61,550. What's our high cost? What was it again?
86,750.
86,750. Dollars always on top. Think of unit cost. Dollars are always on top. And we roughly get how much?
I think it's 88.
$88 per part?
No, I mean 88,000 is the high.
No, 86,750 because 850 part, or number of parts is the
okay,
highest.
that's the high.
Yeah.
Yep, very good.
Sorry.
To pick. Pick.
That's why
That
I'm
is-
using that because.
We have to use X's, right?
X.
To pick the high and low. All right.
See, I did the dollars on
Yeah,
that's how I got it wrong.
that's why I remember it now.
63.
Very, very.
63?
Yeah.
That's step 2. Step 3, come up with our fixed cost, which is total cost, right? Minus our variable cost. And in most cases, I use the high component. So at my high level, my total cost was $86,750. How do I compute the variable cost? What numbers do I multiply?
63 by 850.
63 by 850. Why did you pick 850, Diane?
Because it corresponds with the 86,750.
Yes. This 850 matches that 850, right? Which that corresponds to the observation of 86,750. Very good. Do you have that number then, Diane?
33,200.
Can someone confirm that?
Yes.
That's right? Okay, excellent. So, at this point now, I have a cost formula. Y equals 33,200 plus 63 times X. You may have to develop your cost formula, right? So this is why we use the high-low method, is to do this cost formula. And the goal here, we always have to have a goal in cost, is to predict our dollars, right? That's the goal here. So expected annual fixed cost is, you have to be careful because here it is. What does the 33,200 represent?
Monthly.
Monthly amount. So what do we have to do to get an annual?
Times that by 12.
12 months. Simple change in the question gives you a needed different response. So this is a big number. How much is it? Do you have it?
398,400.
Did you use Excel to do that? Oh, you did. I was going to cry if you did, because that would have been so cool. You just killed it. Okay, use your calculator. Awesome. Very good. Now, expected annual variable cost. What do we have to do to get that number? How do I get this expected annual variable cost? The prediction is what?
8,000.
8,000. So what do I do?
Multiply by 63.
Yes. So 63 times x. Why don't I multiply this by 12?
Annually.
Do I multiply by 12 also? Actually, I don't.
No. Because the question is.
Because what is the $63? It's per unit, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm expecting for the coming year, is this, to make this many units. It's already annualized. I don't need to do it twice. But that is a very common thing that students want to do, is times it by 12, because that's what we did up here in the fixed. Fixed is different than variable in how they're treated. So 63 times 8,000 is,
104.
did you have, what you have?
504,000.
And then we total them up, right? Uh-oh. Help me out, guys. 9.
902, 400.
Thank you, Ruby. Excellent. This is what we predict our material costs will be if we decide, or if we can make 8,000 units. 8,000 units is within the relevant range for the year. If I took 800 times 12, that's 9,600. So it looks reasonable. It's within the relevant range. And now, remember our control function? I'm going to compare, eventually, when the year's done, obviously, I'm going to compare this number to the actual material cost, material handling cost. So if I came in at $1 million versus what my prediction was 900,000 roughly, right?
Mhm.
I'm just making the million up. I'm just making that number up. As a manager, what would you think? I'm within 100. I'm within about 10%. Not too shabby, but little
Could be
getting to
better,
be,
yeah.
it could be better, right? Something might have changed, fuel costs might have gone up, right? Maybe we had an unexpected repair in our fork truck that we weren't planning. So that kind of analysis is done to determine, well, maybe next year we might have to change our prediction a little bit, right? Or, again, control our cost a little better.
Or change the way we do.
Or change the what we do,
yeah,
correct.
Our procedure or process.
Exactly. Cost accounting and efficiency go hand in hand. If we can do something faster, quicker, it costs less. That's the goal. So that's our hope here in this analysis. How'd that work? Okay, high-low method? Rock solid? All right. Let's go to problem 52 in our book. Oh, Sam and Catherine, are you okay with this? Awesome, thank you, Sam, or Catherine. Sam, you're good? Awesome, good job. Thank you for staying with us. Problem 52 is on page 135. We have two income statements to work on in chapter 3. One is absorption, which is what we're starting with. Here we're making 20,000 units during its first year of operations. And we sold 18.9 for $17 a piece. The company chose a practical activity level of 20 to compute its predetermined overhead rate. Okay. Now we have costs predictions for all four. And our first task is to calculate the unit cost for each of these four costs. And then from that, come up with a cost per unit under the absorption method. So here we go. It requires a little more work than usual, right? So we got to take each of these amounts. What number am I dividing by? The 20, right? The author uses a strange terminology again here. Practical level of activity. Which means what? It's a budget number. Why they didn't use a budget number is, I don't know. But again, this is where terminology is involved. This is our budget number, what we think we will produce next year. It's the biggest number in our prediction processes to come up with that level. So you simply then take these, divide by, and get a cost per unit of 4. Of course, that's the only one I can get in my head. What's the second one?
5.07.
507. Is that rounded, Liz?
No, it's just the
Yeah, that's what it's.
whole number.
Is the whole number comes out to
Yeah.
507? Okay. E, do you have variable overhead?
Once,
0.7,
some under 80.
Somebody.
0.78, okay. And then the last one,
2.73.
2.73?
Yep.
Sam, what is the total of this amount then, please? Maybe I caught her off guard. Sam, are you out there? Fell asleep already? Hope not. If we add these 4, Catherine, do you have the amount? 1258, awesome, thank you. Yay, Sam, good job. Thank you for helping. Excellent. 1258 per unit. Okay, now it says calculate the cost of ending inventory under the absorption. Remember we take our beginning, we add produce, we subtract sold, and we get ending. I think we had 0, right? In the
Yeah.
beginning? First year of operations, so it would be 0. Produced 20, sold how many?
18,900.
18,900. We have 1,100 left. So I'm going to take 1,100 times what?
Times the 12.
1258. To get the value of ending inventory under the absorption method. 1258. Absorption is the gap requirement, right? How much cost do I have here?
13,838.
$13,838. Jade, what ending inventory are we talking about?
Finished goods?
Finished goods, excellent. Excellent, excellent. What are our other inventory accounts in a manufacturing setting?
Working.
Work in process inventory, which is uncompleted, right? These are completed units, 1,100 completed, not sold. That's finished goods. What's the third one? The one before WIP? Material inventory, raw material inventory. Very good, excellent. Okay, good job, everyone. The next task is 53. It's very quick. Our other inventory method is variable costing, right? What ones do we add? How many parts is variable? 1, 2, 3, 4. Holly?
3.
3, right? The first 3 are variable. So the 4, the 507, and the 78 cents. Uh-oh. Am I doing something wrong? Is it a different problem?
Different
Yes.
numbers.
I don't want to. No, I know. Thank you, Catherine. But I'm too lazy to do that. No, I'm not going to do it. Let's just use the same numbers. Why would we do this any other way? So, right? Yeah. We don't have those. I worked till 10 last night. I'm tired. You did too, probably, some of you.
Yep.
So 9.85?
Yep.
And then 1,100 times 985. Oops, put my dollar sign in the right number. Kershaw, are you with us on this, dude? What's that amount then?
10,834.
10,835? The purpose of this obviously is to know that with variable costing, we're only using 3 rates and not 4. So that's the goal here. And again, they're talking about the same finished goods inventory level on the balance sheet, right? Assuming you know that, as a current asset. All right. Any thoughts on this computation? I think CNOW does a nice job. There's quite a few on this type of information, so hopefully that should be pretty good review. We talked about this on, gosh, Monday already, right? You need to know which income statement will produce the higher income level based on production versus sales. So when we produce more than sales, absorption is larger, your absorption, because we're holding that cost in inventory. We're not shipping it through the income statement. The opposite is true. When sales are greater than, right, than the production level, then the variable income is greater. Please keep this straight. This is on page 109. Thank you, Teresa. Do not forget this. Are we cool? It's winter out. It's cool. Get it? Okay. Page 109. All right. I do feel I need to do this. Problem 66. Yes, this is a good one. This is a good one. Love it, love it. Judy asked what class I'm teaching today, and I said cost. I got so excited. This is my favorite class. I love these problems. Okay, here we go. Go ahead. Come up with a absorption cost per unit and a variable cost per unit. Now remember with this, when we do this, we're looking only at product cost, right? Only product cost. 4 parts, 3 parts. And can someone help me with the fixed overhead? The toughest part of this problem is that fixed overhead. It's got to be done on a per unit basis. So they give us the per unit numbers for materials, labor, and variable overhead. 285, 192, and $1.60. How do I get this one? The fixed overhead per unit.
Divided by 200.
I think we heard it, yeah. Ruby, can you say it again?
Divided by the 200,000.
Yes. So 180 is the cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over the 200,000 level. The 200,000 is the,
Is it the 200,000 or is it the sold amount?
always production amount. Here's, again, you could say produced amount or practical activity level. Or it could say budget amount, budgeted production. Never, never, never sold. Let me move this up. You guys are crunching your necks here. So produced, practical level of activity, budgeted level of activity. It's always some form of production level. And obviously this is 90 cents then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 352, 357, 4, 37, 637.
Correct. No,
No,
there's
we have
another
one.
one.
Oh, I forgot the 90 cents.
So that'll be 727.
Okay, let's look at our statements. Now that we have our inventory cost per unit, right? 727, 637. So I'm going to put that right away on my statement. 727 for my absorption. Cost of goods sold per unit. $6.37 for my variable cost per unit under the variable costing method. Looking at the sale level, looking at the production level, which statement will give me a larger income? We produced 200, we sold how many? 204, which means what? It's not absorption, that's higher. Variable will be higher because we sold more units. Very good. Okay. Make sure we remember that. What did we sell these bad boys for? $9 a piece. And we sold 204,300 units. So we actually can put that in here. also, right? For the cost of goods sold. Oh, I was panicking. I thought I lost my calculator. Keep going on it, guys. You can just check your work as I'm doing this. Fill it out on your own. Scrunch these numbers up a little bit. This is fixed selling / admin expenses. There's two of them. Or is there just one? No, there's two. Oh, there's just one. 96,000. Are we good? 73,569. Okay. So I'm going to try to copy some of this down. All right. I don't know if I can do much more than that. So the variable statement is set up a little bit differently, not much, slightly different. If I take 637 times 204, 300, $1,301,391. $1,485,261. The subtotal is called contribution margin under a variable statement. Fixed cost. do I put for my fixed manufacturing? What number do I have here? We need the 96, right? What number do I have for my manufacturing?
180?
180,
180, right?
180,000.
180,000. It's the only time we actually use our production cost amount, right? On any income statement. So we're at 276. I hope my variable income is higher than our absorption. We had 73 under absorption. What do we have under variable?
77,439.
So we just proved if we sold more, right? If our sold units are greater than our produced units, right? Which is what we have in this scenario, the variable income is larger than the absorption income. Did anybody do the difference? What is the difference in amount?
3,870.
3,870. All right, 3,870. This is our phantom. Fan. Fan, right?
Yeah, and
Phantom profit. Which is equal to the 90 cents, right? Times the 4,300 difference between production and sold. I hope that's right. Produced was 200, sold was 2043.
Yeah, that's correct.
Does it come out to 3870? And again, what's happening here is, under this scenario, is I'm actually releasing more of that expense under the absorption method. That's why it's lower. Because we sold more of that inventory, right? We sold more of that inventory in this scenario.
Where did we get the 43 from? 43,000 or 100? 90 times 43?
We sold 204.3, right?
Yeah.
We produced just 2.
Oh. Okay.
That's how we get that difference. Does anybody remember why managers want to use this one? Why do we even have a second statement?
Because that's something they can control.
Yeah. This really revolves around the controllability, right? Expenses that they're in charge of, both manufacturing, in this case, under the cost of goods sold, material, labor, and variable overhead, and well as the selling. So in reality, right, if I take this 353,439, and I divide by the units sold, right? Because that's how we got to that number, based on units sold. I come up with a contribution margin per unit. That's what they key in on, right? Every month they can look at that margin per unit and see if they're doing better or if they're not doing so well. So it's a very important metric. And it's not influenced by a fixed cost that they don't have control over. And that's the goal with that second statement.
CM is control measure.
CM is contribution margin per unit.
Oh, oh, gotcha.
It's all right. And I just said, again, the manager can control these expenses. That's what I'm trying to show. Okay. What I have left, guys, is about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not sure I'm going to cover everything here, because it's pretty much exactly what we just did on problems 66 and 53. Tell you what, why don't we do the unit computations together quickly before break here. I will then complete the rest of these statements myself, and then you can just verify them if you wish to complete them. Is that all right with everyone?
Yes.
If you want me to go through any of these numbers with you, I certainly can individually, but I also want to give you some time to work on your C now if you're not quite finished. So let's just do that in the next 10 minutes here. Let's look at this problem. Waltman produces brackets. They had beginning inventory of 900. They produced 60. They sold 56,000 for $13.50. So calculate the fixed overhead per unit produced. Round to the nearest cent. This should say fixed overhead. So question 1, what is the fixed overhead per unit? What do I need to do? Divide. Which two numbers, Eve?
The 216,000 divided by the units produced, the 60,000. Which you get 3.6.
So we grab this 216, make sure it's manufacturing, right? It doesn't really say it. Don't grab the selling and admin, right? Must be manufacturing related, and we have to divide, just as you said, by the 60,000 produced units. Excellent. Units in ending inventory. What's my formula?
Beginning inventory.
Beginning plus produced,
Yep.
right?
Minus sold.
Minus sold. So we had 900 in beginning. We produced 60,000. we sold 56,000.
Mhm.
4,900.
4,900. Make sure you know that computation. Because that influences our next amount too, right? Or actually not, number 4. What's our cost per unit? One, 2, 3, and 4 down here, right? 4 parts to an absorption cost per unit. Material, labor, overhead, variable, and fixed. So we're looking at $3.60, $1.20. Is it $6.60?
Mhm.
So I'll write down that it was $1.20, or excuse me, $1.80. $1.80. Plus, is it 90?
Yep.
Plus 30, plus $3.60 equals the 660. And then, once we have that answer, now I can multiply by the units in ending inventory. $32,340. Okay. I said I would do the statement on my own. I'll have the answer key as part of my saved homework. The numbers don't change, or do they? $3, right, is our variable cost per unit. The 180 plus the 90 plus the 30. So 1, 2, 3. Units and ending. Thinking of a different problem. 4,900 times 3. $14,700. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. This belongs down here. It's still the same amount, right? 4,900. And then 14,700. Is that all right with everyone? What I'll do is then also finish this income statement. And I'll do that while you're waiting here. Okay, Sam and Catherine, any questions? What we're planning on here? The rest of the class is you to do your homework, ask questions. Okay, thank you, Catherine. I'll have this video recorded. I did want to ask, did anybody try the new video I emailed out yesterday?
I try in class, remember?
You tried it in class, the Polly?
Yeah.
Did it seem to run better?
Yeah.
Does it run? Yes, the YouTube one. That works better? Okay, that's good to hear. All right,
That's fine.
thank you.
Right.